Hello, I'm Erik. I've invited my friends Greg Talley and Ryan Smith to join me in ingesting fun and bizarre foods. We'd like you to join us too. So come in and open up. It's Junkmouth.
Hi, I'm Erik.
I'm Greg.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
Welcome, listeners, to the Roof Lizard Lounge high atop the Dino Hotel in picturesque Lakewood, Colorado, above our restaurant Paleo Joe's near Denver and the Rocky Mountains. Let's start out with lunch swap. Greg, what did you bring in your fancy tiffin today?
Well, in my 3-level Mumbai tiffin.
Every time you say those words, I want to smack you.
It's very fancy, very shishi. In the top tier, I have a carbonara arancini made with moose cheese instead of pecorino, made only in Bjurholm, Sweden at the Elk House, which is the only place in the world that makes moose cheese. You try milking a moose sometime, Ryan. Believe me, I've tried. In fact,
unfortunately, it was a bull moose.
Yes, but there were no complaints. Everyone left satisfied. In fact, the cheese is made from 3 domesticated moose named Gullen, Helga, and Yuna. In the middle level, by the way, I have to say, Helga, she will always be dear to my heart. In the middle level, I have bearded seal, prepped Sicilian style. In the bottom tier, I have macaronis haute couture. Pierre Herm, a French pastry chef, makes the most expensive macaroons available today for a price of $7,414 US. They are made to order with ingredients such as peanut butter, red wine, balsamic vinegar, and fleur de sel. The macaroons have a soft shell and a buttercream filling. They are served in a unique donut-shaped box and are beautiful to look at. I pull them out of the box and stomp on it because it amuses me and put them in the bottom tier of my tiffin, or at least I have my people do that. They hand me the box.
$7,000 for fucking macaroons? The Girl Scouts will sell you some for like, what, $10 a box?
Yes, but they're peasants!
They're pretty good.
I was going to say, what really got me is that the thing Greg finds super fancy are things shaped like donuts.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it depends on the ingredients of the donuts and how exclusive they are and how rare they are.
Shut the fuck up.
I mean, if I can't make someone else feel inadequate with my donut, then it is not a donut worth having.
So, Greg, if I crapped on a plate and gave it to you, and I've never given anybody else my crap on a plate, does that make it extra exclusive and something you'd want to eat?
If it was Elton John, maybe. I mean, you have to at least be a sir or a dame, somewhere at that level.
I'm a Kentucky colonel. That's the Kentucky equivalent of a knighthood.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about Pappy Von Winkle, maybe, but I'm not so sure about you, Ryan.
What's wrong with me? I'm a fucking Kentucky colonel. I'm a fucking, like a knight in Kentucky.
I would not use the phrase Grand Knight in Kentucky ever again.
I didn't say Grand Knight. I didn't say Grand Knight. I said a knight in Kentucky.
You might even say a wizard of sorts.
Oh, fuck you. Erik, can we move on? I feel myself hating him more and more with every word out of his stupid ginger mouth.
Yeah, let's feel better by opening my Orange Crush lunchbox and see what I have for lunch today. Yep. Okay, get that. All right. Well, it looks like. I love these. Have you ever had one of these? These are. It's a hot dog and a croissant. I love these things. Dip that in a little mustard. Wonderful. And looks like a fruit punch juicy juice box, in case you can't say juice enough. And for dessert, I have a Clark bar. So, Ryan, what is it you have today?
In an unlabeled pill bottle, I have aftermarket Mexican Prozac.
Yeah, well, we're working with Greg.
I'd like some.
I brought it specifically for you because it's dangerously easy to overdose on it, and a significant number of people have allergic reactions and die. So here you go, Greg.
Delicious.
All right, well, let's... Yep. So Ryan and I would like to welcome everybody to our Genus Orza episode of Junkmouth. That's right.
Should I go ahead and get the defibrillator out? I mean,
That's up to you.
He's got a segment.
I mean,
Clear.
maybe I just... Okay.
Clear.
My hair is standing on end.
Yeah, that last one was for me. I know you were fine after the first one.
I just saw Kenny Loggins at the end of a white tunnel. What does it mean?
It means we're all wrong about every theology we thought we knew.
Kenny Loggins. Oh, my goodness. I never want to die.
So was the tunnel a highway to the danger zone?
It was. It was indeed.
Oh. I was always thinking it would be a highway to hell, but,
For Greg,
maybe I just
absolutely.
listened to too much AC/DC.
Well, I don't know. I mean, with Kenny Loggins at the end, who knows where he was headed? It depends on what Kenny Loggins song you're talking about.
Very true. All right. Well, now that we've got Greg back, all three of us can welcome our listeners to the episode Ryan is likely to forget before we even finish recording it. That's right. Today, it's all rice. Aren't you excited about that, Ryan?
I have, much like rice, I have no feelings either way.
Ryan will have no feelings at all by the end of this episode, which at least the anger and the pain will be subsided. So that's...
Yeah, rice is one of those foods that I'm utterly indifferent to. I don't dislike it. I don't like it. It's just sort of there as a delivery system for other food.
Yeah, which is why I said you'd forget it before we're done recording.
What?
We are the second podcast joining the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Revival League to form the Dino Hotel Entertainment Network of America, or DINA, or DINA, or DINA, or however you want to pronounce it. And if masticating on this show makes you want to spit something back at us for a future audience regurgitation segment, you should contact us through email, junkmouthpodcast@gmail.com, on Facebook at facebook.com/junkmouth, or on Twitter at JunkmouthPod, and that's just Junkmouth POD because they don't take long enough names to let us put Junkmouth Podcast. So,
and by the way, Junkmouth and the Revival League podcast are now both available on YouTube. So if you're not catching us on SoundCloud or iTunes or
Then you're
Google
probably
Play,
not listening to this.
You can catch us on YouTube now. So that's the first iteration of the Dino Hotel Entertainment Network of America, and soon will be its own page, and we will slowly take over the multiverse, similar to the way Ego did in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Greg,
Yes.
would you like some more Mexican Prozac?
Yes.
Here you go.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, you can go on. I'll revive him later.
okay, let's go on by having you tell us about one of the other shows that's going to be joining our network soon.
Okay, Geeky Drink, that is sort of our great white whale, Greg and I. It's a show we're hoping to get off the ground sometime in the summer, time allowing, which will be fan communities translated into cocktails and other pleasurable libations. So we'll come up with a drink based on Star Wars or a drink based on Star Trek, something like that.
And
Doctor Who.
And if we're able to revive Greg, he might be able to drink some more rum, and he'll be happy.
Yeah.
And we also have another show. You can actually listen to this one already, called 10 Backward. And this is where our friends Ron and James, they're watching the Next Generation series Backward. I think mostly because they want to put off watching Encounter at Farpoint as long as possible.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't, but does have a reputation. So.
Yeah, well, it's hardly the worst episode of the first season.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. So that's 10 Backwards. Now, before we can dig in, we need to sing for our supper. So I think we need to load up that reel-to-reel with the Sweet Kevin Murphy jingle.
Before we do, I think it's time to revive Greg. His heart's been stopped for a while, and, brain cells. So stand back, Erik.
All right.
Clear.
Mommy, roll the tape.
The next time you travel to Denver, make your journey into one that you'll remember. Don't just sit around and wish when you can have an expedition at the Dino Hotel. Stretch, snarl, roll.
All right. Can never get enough of that jingle. That was
you know
great,
what I
isn't
can't
it?
get enough of? Clear.
Wow!
That
For
was
the
for
love
me.
of God! Who brought in a defibrillator to the podcast studio?
Well, that was you, Greg.
I don't remember this at all.
It was.
Do you remember
code.
your father's name, Greg? You have had quite a few electric shocks.
I think it was something about Jagenberger, Wermenmeister, Detective to the Stars or something?
Yeah. Well, you're right. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Before we dig in, let's lay out our ground rules for our food here. The first piece is that we're looking for items not widely distributed in the United States. 2, we actually want unique foods, not just something that's a local brand. 3, we look to fit our foods each week to a theme, like our rice theme this week. And rule 4, these wimps just aren't willing to try absolutely anything I put in front of them, so...
I just swallowed 3 Mexican Prozac. What do you mean?
I know, and yet there's things you won't eat. I will never understand you, Greg.
I have
But,
standards.
Yeah, and Greg's standards have forced us to have a pass card on here, so each one of us has an option to skip trying one item every week.
Oh, those friggin' bacon jelly beans that made Ryan burp smoke for a week.
Those were definitely not the worst thing we've had on the podcast.
They're not the best things either, let's be honest.
No, definitely not.
No, they're not. But far from the worst.
Yeah, they were definitely no soya bean drink.
Oh,
God.
you know what? The soya bean drink was awful, but I knew those jelly beans, it wasn't going to be that you couldn't tolerate the taste. I knew that it was going to be a whole hell of a lot of regret after you ate it. And I think, Ryan, doesn't that pretty much bear true?
What I noticed about them is not so much regret after you eat them as just they're actually not bad individually, but the minute you eat a second one, you're like, oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got them at home, and I have like one every so often, and that's it. Because if I have 2, I'm like, there's a diminishing return with them, a real diminishing return.
Yes, you had one, and I know you were actually saying you liked it.
Yeah, I did like
You had
it.
the second one, and then
Yeah,
that's not so good.
I like it a little less.
Yeah.
It builds up quickly. So yeah, you regret eating more than one. I'll say that.
Okay.
Well,
Kind
now that we're talking about horrible foods, get me something here, Eric. I'm hungry.
Yeah, so we have Janaki's Taste of Home, Mulu Muruku.
Say what now?
Yeah, it's Mulu Muruku. It's a popular savory item prepared in India for festive occasions. It's kind of a twisted thing made mostly from rice flour, given some spices.
Smells good. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
holding this green bag that you brought out, these rice flour noodles, and it doesn't smell half bad. I'm going to get some of our handy-dandy in-studio bowls, and I'm going to pour out...
They look like Andy Cap hot fries.
Yeah, they kind of do look like handicap hot fries. I'm with you on that. That's a blast from the past. But, see, kids, there was back from the 50s through the 90s, there was this very unfunny cartoon called Andy Cap. That's the reference.
And yeah, it was about a functioning alcoholic, so of course they licensed him for hot fries.
Well, I would think that would have been a pot smoker when you're going to try to sell a snack.
Yeah.
But I guess,
I don't think I ever saw Andy Cap eat hot fries in the comics. He was basically just drinking and then getting yelled at by his wife for staying out at the pub. Andy Cap was a British gentleman.
He was.
Yeah, and I also think, pre-Cheech and Chong, it was really hard to have a popular character who was a pot addict.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right.
So they smell really good. I mean,
yeah,
savory-wise, I'm digging this. It's kind of a breaded spiciness to it, maybe like a pepper, like the better part of a breaded on fried chicken or something.
Yeah, and if you look at it closer, they're hollow, so you
Interesting.
got just like a tiny pinhole hole through the middle. And
So it's like some sort of cooker extrusion process that's then fried. So that's interesting. So, man, can we try them? I'm ready.
let's go for it. Yeah,
Crunchy.
crunchy.
Deciding?
I definitely get some cumin in there.
Lots of cumin. It tastes just like a pretzel or a cumin rice cracker or something like that. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's got the base flavor. Seems just like a crispy Not quite a pretzel because it doesn't have that like long-term chewiness. It's lighter, but
It's got a nice burn on the back of the throat.
almost like a Cheeto texture.
I'm digging these.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm really liking these.
Yeah.
I don't think these are quite a 5 for me because it is a little heavy on the cumin. But it's probably a 4.5, I'd say. It's pretty good.
5 for me.
You're going
5
all
greasy wrappers because I'm digging the cumin. I'm digging the light heat.
I like the heat.
Yeah, it's definitely not too much cumin for me.
This is
And
bar food.
I was like sitting here kind of like, as you were talking, I'm thinking like, is this the 4.5 or is this the 5? As you guys are talking, and but I keep going back to them, and the more I eat, the better they taste. And so I'm gonna go with you, Greg. I think these are
I might have
5.
to up this to about a 4.75, actually.
Because
Yeah.
It's not blowing my hair back. It's not remarkable. So it's not a 5, but it's close.
You know, we've tried a lot of different junk foods on this podcast. And very rarely have we brought anything in the chip, hollow calories category where you're just supposed to sit there and stuff your gob while drinking a beer. Mm-hmm. Instead of putting out peanuts or edamame or something like that, depending on where you are in the world for a bar, or pretzels, I could see them putting out this Maruku bar top because it would make you thirsty. It would get you ready. You know, the spices would go really well with a beer.
Yeah,
These are really good.
I'm a definite beer aficionado, and you know, I even homebrew my own beer, and this makes me want a beer. I'm kind of sad I don't have one.
That's a sign of a real problem, Eric.
And the ingredients? Rice flour, moong. What's moong? M-O-O-N-G.
I have no idea.
Cumin, asafoetida, sesame, salt, chili powder, margarine, corn, or canola oil. So, other than moong, all of these are pretty self-explanatory. It's probably just something lost in translation.
This is highly recommended.
Yeah, I think it's just some kind of flour. I found these at a little Indian grocery store locally, so
I finished mine.
good luck necessarily finding at least this brand, but
Yeah, I just ate the entire bowl.
yeah.
I just went through them just voraciously. They're really good. And I'm one of those guys who, because we eat so much on this podcast, and I do want to actually eat dinner later,
Yes.
I generally take like one bite and then set it aside. You'll notice even the stuff I like, I'll take one bite or one sip or something, just so I won't get ludicrously full. I ate all of these.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. I'm pacing myself a little slower than you did, but I'm continuing to go at them. So
I ate all of these and I had a big breakfast.
This, to me, is the sign of good junk food, in that it's good and it leaves you wanting more.
yes,
And
I'll look for these. I will look for these and buy them.
okay.
Yeah, I mean that's how much I like these. These are fantastic.
Yeah, they are fantastic. It reminds me of.
You know what? The hell with
wasabi.
it. 5.
Yeah,
Unanimous 5.
All right,
5 across.
unanimous 5.
And the more I eat them,
okay.
the more I like them.
That's Janaki's Taste of Home Mulu Maruku, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Ah, that's
And-
delicious.
I love that heat. It's just
That,
so
was
good.
that was a good eat. There are some eat, drinks, and be merry when we get to the eat. There are some that fill me with sadness.
Yeah.
This filled me with happiness.
Yeah, this is a good way to start off. This is a
Excellent.
really good way to start off.
In starting off this well, I think it's time to move on to our next segment, Accentuate the Positive. Accentuate the Positive is where I highlight one of the things that makes life just a joy to be alive. And this week, I want to talk about bizarre Japanese inventions. I absolutely love that the Japanese will come up with insane inventions that people would be just too embarrassed to be caught using in the United States.
I like that jumpsuit that like transforms into like an inflatable air mattress. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Not one of the things I've highlighted here, but those are great. Now, the first one I want to bring up, they have something called a necktie umbrella. And this is literally, it's like an umbrella except at the top, instead of just like that metal point you normally have on an umbrella. There's a necktie attached to it, so you can wear it around as a necktie with the umbrella handle sitting at the bottom.
I see all kinds of ways that could result in a really amusing death.
Yeah, there is that.
I mean,
It's a handle to twist the tie and garrote the
yeah,
person.
I mean, there are several things that immediately sprung to mind. Garroting you lean over wrong and the tie jams because it's a rigid umbrella straight through your neck.
Gets caught on the subway door and
The thing just opens in your face and you crash.
I really think you should wear these in industrial plants with lots of rotating equipment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
When your invention brings to mind Spy versus Spy, maybe it's time to rethink it.
yeah, well, when the first thing that you think when looking at invention is that could kill somebody in so many ways.
I even thought there's two things that really stand out to me as bad ideas with this outside of the safety issues even.
Oh, really?
The first being, if you have to use this as an umbrella, your tie is just soaking wet now.
Yeah,
I mean, do you really want to put on a soaking wet tie?
Yeah,
exactly.
You're
Get to
a
the office.
man. Yeah, you
Yeah,
have to wear a tie.
Yeah. So that absolutely miserable. The other thing I really think is, even if you have like a really safe office job and get along with all your coworkers, and none of them are going to kill you with this, you just look like an idiot.
Yeah. Well, there's also the fact that you're going to as soon as you sit down, you've got this rigid stick that's just going to slam into your groin every time you sit down. You know, it's
Well,
not a tie; it's a rigid umbrella.
On second thought, maybe I want one.
As I say, the Japanese are into some weird stuff.
I will
That
give
might-
you more Mexican Prozac, Greg.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm going to move to the next item on our list here for weird inventions. And these are the items that the Japanese will use to be able to take naps on the subway.
Oh, dear Lord.
My. Yes.
That
there's
one
some
on
great-
the left that you have with the woman with the chin strap looks like autoerotic
execution
asphyxiation. Yeah.
It does. Yeah. A real problem with their, with the choking hazard. This is literally just like a stick, like you'd see almost like a blind person might use, and one of those extendable sticks or an extendable cane
Yeah.
with a just like U-shaped chin rest you
Yeah.
can put your chin on, so you can kind of sleep standing up on the subway.
Once
It
again,
looks like a Salvador Dali crutch in a surrealist painting.
all sorts of ways to kill yourself with this.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean,
The one on the
along
right
with
actually-
just falling over and
Yeah.
embarrassing yourself when you fall asleep.
Exactly. The one on the right actually seems like a relatively good idea.
Yeah, which is basically a plunger on the back of a hard hat, so you can sit down and put the
Toilet plunger.
a toilet. Yeah, stick the toilet plunger onto the window and wear the hard hat
It
so
keeps you
that
from falling over.
you don't fall over.
That's for when you're seated, obviously.
Yes.
Not when you're standing next to the doors that open.
I'll go ahead and say that looks like an idea that would actually work.
It probably would.
Yeah. You would look like an idiot, but it would work. It would accomplish its purpose.
Yes. And that's part of the point. In Japan, if it works, it doesn't matter how stupid you look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, in defense of the Japanese, how many of these things are like novelty items, Ronco quality stuff? Because, I mean, you could look at, our as seen on TV commercials and assume we were a bunch of idiots. And
absolutely.
And that's,
We are.
Yeah, we are, but it doesn't necessarily mean those things are widely adopted.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, I can't quit eating these snacks.
But I
they're
mean,
good.
those subway napping devices, those are candid photos. Those are not something from an advertising campaign. Somebody took those photos on a subway.
Yes, which is great.
People are using
much
these.
more
At least those people are using these.
Yeah. So the next piece I have on here I find really amusing is the lipstick stencil. I don't know how well this would work, but it looks just wrong. It looks like some kind of BDSM device.
Yeah.
It's kind of looks like somebody took a piece of leather and cut out lip shapes in the middle of it. And then put some string around it, and then they've tied it around their face so that the lip shape goes over their lips, and then it shows somebody putting on lipstick.
Yeah,
with that.
and what I like about this is it shows somebody putting on lipstick, but you can clearly see that the stencil is too big, that her lips actually start several millimeters below the stencil, because people's lips aren't all the same dimensions. And it's also this is a solution for a non-existent problem. Having been in theater, I've done a lot of makeup on myself. There's nothing easier than lining your lips, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
this kind of looks like
Women do this in the car while driving.
This kind of looks like Christopher Nolan Bane would use this to put on lipstick in the morning, and the stencil was designed by the Joker.
Yeah, what this looks like is what you put on your lipstick right before you tell somebody else he's got a pretty mouth and you live in West Virginia. It is horrifying.
Okay. thankfully, I've never been to West Virginia. After
It's
that
beautiful
comment,
to drive through, but I did see while I was driving through one of the many little towns in West Virginia, saw a sign, Crawford's Family Grocery. Family Grocery. Ice, hardware, fresh produce, cold beer, guns.
Huh?
At the grocery.
So
Okay.
it's they got all the basics covered.
The same place they were selling cold beer.
Yeah, you know what? You know what you call that on a bigger scale? Walmart.
That's true.
Moving
Yeah,
on.
that's true.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Walmart doesn't sell guns anymore, do they?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay. Maybe they just stopped near schools or something.
Yeah, I think they've scaled back their guns, and I think like they don't sell semi-automatics and
Okay,
things like
okay.
that. But yeah, you can still buy a gun at Walmart.
Oh, okay.
The next
Well, that's good
one,
to know.
the next one. This is actually of weird Japanese inventions. I think this is probably the best, the most practical, and that's the baby mop.
Really? You
say
think
what
that's the
now?
best idea?
I didn't say it was a good idea. I just said it was the best of what we have here.
That it would work, but
Yeah.
describe it.
So this is like a little baby onesie. Most of it's like a normal onesie, except along the front of it, they've got the little mop tassels all over the front belly, arms, legs, and this you could let your baby crawl around. You know, this is obviously not like a very young infant, but at a crawling stage.
Yeah.
And as they crawl
Well,
around,
it would work
they'll
with a
be
very young
clean,
infant if you
know.
tied it to a stick.
Yeah, but there's nowhere to tie a stick onto that one, so at least that would be a
There's
modification.
always somewhere to tie an infant onto a stick. I mean, you just got to know your knots. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, once
Okay,
you have
we're
the baby,
learning more about Ryan every day.
Well, it's not this tying the stick to the baby mop. It's finding the bucket large enough to accommodate dipping the baby.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing about the baby mop to me, yes, it would work.
Yeah.
Your baby would crawl and pick, but then you've got a baby covered in allergens and dust. I mean, they're already not going to be real clean from crawling around. But they've got these tassels with static electricity specifically designed to pick up all this garbage. So they're going to have like hairballs and lint and allergens all over your baby. What kind of...
And it's all going to go into that baby's mouth.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It's a horrible idea. I mean, just from a strict, like, pragmatic viewpoint, it would work.
Yeah.
But you'll kill your baby. So, they're going to be inhaling these lint balls and choking.
And the thing that kills your baby is the least bad of the things we're looking at.
Hey, you know what? You make one batch of Lysol, Pine Sol, and you dip your baby mop in there, and of course, Child Protective Services has to come and invade your privacy. And
It's suddenly a crime.
suddenly a crime, like you're like, whatever, free country. No.
Now, I think that the one below it actually looks like something that's actually very effective, quite frankly. And to solve a problem that I have a real problem doing that.
Oh, and yeah. So, well, since you're looking at it, why don't you describe it?
It's an eye drop helper. It looks ridiculous, but I mean, I'm one of those people, every time I have to put eye drops in, which is not very often, but like if I get, some illness where I need to use eye drops or something, I have a real problem hitting my own eyeball. I don't know what it is. I don't have the coordination to do it. So every time I need to put 2 drops into my eyes, that means like 10 drops down the side of my face or hitting my forehead or something like that. This is just like a pair of glasses with funnels attached.
Like Harry Potter glasses.
Yeah, just round glasses with funnels attached. So you stick these glasses on, the funnels are aimed directly at your eyeball, and you just put the eye drops into the funnel. It looks ridiculous, but it would undeniably work.
Yeah, it's J.K. Rowling's rejected book, Harry Potter and the Funnels of Stupid.
Yeah.
If I had to use eye drops on a regular basis, I honestly can't remember the last time I did, but I would probably get some of these. That's a good idea.
Okay. Well, so if you have the low coordination levels of Ryan, that's apparently an invention out there you'll want to pick
It's
up.
one of those things I don't know. I've never been able to do it on the first try. Maybe it's because I have an instinctive aversion to letting stuff fall into my eyeball,
No,
and I've got to overcome my own physical, revulsion at that idea.
As someone who's worn contacts for a couple of decades, things getting in my eye, I guess I've just gotten used to it.
That's why I don't wear
Yeah.
contacts. I'm afraid they'll slip down and, fall into my brain.
Yeah. I've only had a couple of them do that. It's not really-
Now your next one on here seems to fall into the category of body pillows and sex robots for Japanese creepy. So explain this one.
This is ultra creepy. This is the Japanese leg pillow.
Yeah, this is creepy as fuck. I'm looking at the photo.
Yeah. So this is like one of those like shaped foam pillows.
Well, let's say if you have a lady love and she's kind enough to sit on the floor and let you put your head in her lap, that is a sweet and romantic moment of bonding. Now,
However, it is a severed torso like the Black Dahlia's lower half.
Yes. Yeah, when you have the lower half of that body recreated in foam with a short skirt put on it.
not even a mini skirt.
Barely.
micro
like
skirt.
A micro skirt, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the lower torso and legs kneeling.
Yeah.
Just kneeling legs and a micro skirt, and then it's cut off right about where like the navel would be. So basically, yeah, this is like something a serial killer would make a lamp out of.
Yeah, it looks extremely disturbing.
It's like resting your head on the lower half of the Black Dahlia.
So this is for lonely Japanese men who have trouble having social interaction. And correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't there far more men than women in Japan, and that's a major problem?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't think it's so much that, just as how their culture sets up relationships and things like that, where certain things are not acceptable, and there's so much fear of rejection that people have a hard time with relationships if they're not like prearranged.
Well, for whatever reason, I don't mean to be ethnocentric, but I don't care what culture you're from. That pillow is fucked up.
Yeah.
This pillow is it's sad and creepy and pathetic.
At some point, we have to leave cultural relativism aside and say there are some things you can just say, that's fucked up, and that pillow's fucked up. And that's not a slam on the Japanese culture, because I have no doubt you could buy something very similar right here in the good old USA.
Yeah, it looks like
It's just as fucked up here.
It looks like a sex doll that's half off.
I was going to say, I think what you'd probably buy in the U.S. would have a stronger sexual slant to it, more obvious.
This is a pretty obvious sexual slant. I think what you mean is what you'd buy in the USA would have an actual orifice. That's all that's missing. I don't mean to be as...
I was trying not to be that crude about it.
I don't want to be that crass.
That's what you're here for.
I don't like being that crass, but I mean, let's be honest. That's all this is missing.
Yeah.
An orifice, and it's a sex toy.
Yeah.
And if that's your thing, fine, but it just seems really dehumanizing. It just seems like... It seems to just reek of misogyny to me. The idea of us... I'm going to rest my head on the knees of a severed woman torso.
And none of that pesky lady talk.
Exactly. Yeah, it's disturbing.
All right. So that concludes our fun Japanese inventions.
Yeah, that's a no for me. The eyedropper, hey, whoever invented the eyedropper guide, man, keep going. You're on the right track.
And I say that, these Japanese inventions, first I'll say, but it's even in Japan, these things are the oddball things.
Oh, yeah.
So certainly this isn't a way to judge Japan.
Oh, no.
But I got to say that the Osaka leg pillow serial killer, he's definitely doing people in with that umbrella necktie. First he kills them with the umbrella necktie. He props them up on the subway with the head crutch.
Do you mean he kills them with the umbrella necktie, or he just gives them an umbrella necktie and waits? Because either way it would work.
Either way it works. It's his cunning plan. Then he hustles them back to his kill dungeon and makes leg pillows.
Yeah. If you wear an umbrella necktie more than once, you will be killed by an umbrella necktie. That's just that it's inevitable.
On that high note, let's move on to Ryan's reality check. Ryan, what have you got for us this week?
Okay, this is where I talk about some issues that might be a little controversial.
No, it's okay, man. We're friends here. Anything goes. It's your platform. Say what you want to say.
Okay, the 2016 election.
Whoa! Hey! No.
Oh, afraid the Russians are tapping your phone, sheeple?
Well, next the other podcast, Ryan,
comrade.
not this one.
Nyet.
Okay, fine. Okay, look, people who maybe this is really specific to me, but it seems like every time I've got to get to work, and I just need to stop in the gas station and put like $10 of gas in my car, just, something to get to work and back. I end up stuck in line in the morning behind some jackass, and they're always really old. I mean, they're like literally 37 minutes from death, who are buying 15 lottery tickets with change and don't know which ones they want and have to have a fucking discussion about it.
And want to scratch them right there.
Yes, and then turn in the winners.
And I just
It's like,
gave you my last
I
quarter. I need
just-
something to scratch it with.
I just want gas. People, there's a reason they're convenience stores. People need to get in and out rapidly. Jesus, God, for one thing, scratch off lottery tickets. It's been said before, they're attacks on people who don't understand statistics. Why are you doing this? You're 7,000 years old. You're on a limited income. Why are you wasting this money? You're going to need that for a kidney. And secondly, a lot of times it's not just the scratchers, it's the people who want to play the Powerball or something like that. They've got to have their numbers because they don't understand randomness. And they sit there dictating out their numbers. They want to buy 17 of these tickets. Every time the computer has to think, they're 90. You're not going to live till Saturday when they have the drawing, you stupid fuck. I just want gas!
I thought you were buying bulk cans of aerosol cheese.
No, I go to the grocery for that. It's a much better deal.
What about just using your credit card or debit card at the pump? You don't have to go in. And
Yeah,
deal
what
with
about
these-
getting your identity stolen, you fucking idiot? Do you have any idea how often people actually put those little card scanner things in the pump?
Yeah, that's why you look and make sure it looks normal and there's nothing extra on top of the front of it.
You know what else happens when you buy gas at the pump? They hold $50 and just keep it for 2 or 3 weeks sometimes. Sometimes it's as little as an hour. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 weeks. But here's the thing. I have an objection to wanting to buy $10 of gas, but that's going to cost me $50 even for a while. I can go in and say, hey, I want $10 of gas. Here's my card. And that's all they take off my card. Also, what if I don't want to use my fucking credit card to buy gas? What if I don't want to pay 18% interest on gas? I have folding money because I'm a human fucking being who is prepared.
I just pay my credit card off every month.
You have to pay your credit cards off?
Wow, Greg.
Well, that's a whole new
The
point is...
Is that why I get all those phone calls?
The point is, it's like people who are still writing paper checks at the grocery store. It's inconsiderate when there is a line of people. All of us just want gas or a big gulp or something like that. That's another thing I often have to go in because I buy a giant soda to drink on all day. People just want, I've got 2 items. You're buying 15 lottery tickets. You're not even going to live to see the drawing. Fuck you. Here's the thing. What they ought to do when somebody says, I want a scratch off, all they ought to say is, what are you spending? Oh, $1? You get this one, but I want the other variety. Fuck you, move on. They all have the same odds of winning. You get power play dollar scratch off. The other just solely on the cashier's whim.
Okay, now that we've established that Ryan hates old people, I think we should move on to our drink. All right.
What are we drinking today?
drinking? Well, it's right in front of you, Greg. Why don't you tell us?
Let me pull this out. This says Jorge's Horchata. Horchata sodas by Dos Amigos. Oh, dear Lord. I love a good horchata, a good rice.
Who doesn't?
Rice drink.
I don't think I've ever had it, so I don't know.
Let me point out that you did not read the fine print on this. Fuck you. This is a Rocket Fizz soda.
Oh
It
my
is a
God.
Rocket Fizz soda.
It is a Rocket Fizz rice-flavored horchata. So
Is
basically...
it Lester and Melba?
No, but it's
No.
Rocket Fizz. So essentially, you have brought in a stealth Lester and Melba for us today. Oh my God.
I did not believe that these were the same as a Lester and Melba. I do know they're Rocket Fizz. I mean, it's even on the cap. It wasn't like I didn't read the fine print.
Oh, Rocket Fizz has soda that's okay. I mean, it's probably not their soda, but they sell soda that's okay.
I you know what? I buy and source most of my sodas from Rocket Fizz. I think they have an excellent choice. They have great novelty items. They've got great candy. I'm not disrespecting the store when I say they are not good soda makers. Because I have profound respect for Rocket Fizz.
I'm just going to say the label doesn't engender confidence because it has that kind of Lester and Melba, overly graphic, overly excited. It looks like it was put together in Photoshop by a talented high schooler, that kind of thing. They're really selling it hard, and I've found that some of the best sodas we've had have had very simple labels because they don't need to sell it. These guys are really trying to catch your eye on the shelf, and that's generally a bad sign.
If you're lucky enough to know like a Mexican or Central American abuela, grandmother, or if you know a good homemade Mexican restaurant where it's mom and pop, and you get actual horchata. I mean, that's nice. Yeah, it's horchata. It's rice and almonds and.
What is horchata? I don't believe I've never had it, so I'm completely unfamiliar with it.
It's just a delicious, sometimes cinnamon flavored rice drink, and it's amazing. I'll take you to get real horchata, and the tears of angels will form upon your eyes because real horchata is a good thing. There are food trucks like in Austin, Texas. All they sell is horchata. They turn it into a fine art. This, my friend, is less. This is Rocket Fizz. It is not horchata.
It's a horchata flavored soda, which may or may not be authentic in taste. We'll have to wait and see until we try it. I'm guessing not.
I'm guessing I'm going to hate you even more in just a few short moments.
Well, let's get this over with.
Is it a twist cap or is it?
I'm just going to use the bottle opener.
I want a bottle opener anyway.
I don't like to tear my hands up.
All right, well, and go slow because we tore up the last time.
Well, that's because you
froze it by accident. Yeah. I was in the shower.
Our last podcast, Greg accidentally left the sodas in the freezer, and they thawed by the time it was time for the podcast, but my cap was still frozen on, so when I opened the cap, it just took a big chunk of the bottleneck off with it.
Yep.
Wow.
Just shattered the bottleneck.
So I made Ryan drink it anyway, and his insides are full of shattered glass.
Why do you think I've been pushing Mexican Prozac on you?
I like it. It tastes better than the Atlanta-based Prozac. So what's it smell like? What do we got here?
I smell cinnamon, rice, and sugar.
Yeah, very sweet. It's like a Rice Krispie treat.
Yeah, touch of cinnamon.
Cinnamon, rice, and I mean, sort of almost a rice pudding smell is what a good horchata smells like.
It smells okay, but here's the thing. Some of the Lester and Melba stuff doesn't smell offensive. It smells like what it's supposed to be.
It's the chemical aftertaste of Rocket Fizz. It is a distinctive thing where I
think they're still using DDT in the sodas and Lester and Melbas.
Yeah, except they call it DEET.
Those are distinctive. DEET is bug repellent for people.
Bug, yeah. Very effective. I actually say this does not smell as chemical as most of the other. Cheers.
Let's try it.
Cheers, up yours.
So far, not horrible, but sometimes these creep up on you.
Way better than anything from Lester and Melba. I'm going to say that right away.
But these do creep up on you sometimes.
Yeah, I got to say, it actually tasted pleasant. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Because my standards for Rocket Fizz are so incredibly low for their in-house sodas that it scares me.
If you don't immediately vomit blood from your eyeballs, a Rocket Fizz soda is sort of a success.
This is definitely way better than that. I will say it's not as good as a nice, authentic horchata you find at a good little mom and pop Mexican restaurant.
This isn't bad, but
it's not bad.
It's not bad. I've had 3 sips. I'm still wouldn't seek it out because it's not the real horchata. It's weird with the carbonation. It's not like having an egg cream or something where the flavors blend well with the carbonation. This is just weird.
Yeah, I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, though, because, I've had Lester and Melba's where the first couple of sips actually tasted okay, and then the third sip, you suddenly realized, oh, no, this is the vilest stuff I've ever had. And it keeps not happening with this, and I got to say, it's putting me off.
It is. I'm scared.
I actually have to give this no higher than a 2, not because it's horrible, but because it makes me nervous.
I'm going to give it a 3 because it didn't fill me with existential sadness the way a lot of Lester's and Melba's
Lester and Melba's really, for hours after I drank that pumpkin soda, I felt sad. and that is not an exaggeration. It depressed me.
There definitely are Lester and Melbas that were like that. I have not had as many of the non-Lester and Melba Rocket Fizz sodas as you guys have had. So maybe that's why I wasn't as turned off to buy this as you might have been. Honestly, with this, I think this is it's good. It's not great.
It's okay. Yeah.
But somebody put one of these in front of me. I'm drinking it, so I'm gonna go 3.5.
Really?
3.5 greasy wrappers.
I'm going to have to stay with 2.
I'm staying with 3, and that's because 3 greasy wrappers. I'm with Ryan. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to wake up.
The projectile vomiting will speak.
I'm going to wake up in like the middle of the night, and this bottle's going to be standing over me with a knife.
Forcing you to drink it.
These things are dangerous.
So what I'm getting is that not just because it says Rocket Fizz on the label, both of you are knocking this down significantly, irrelevant of what the actual soda tastes like.
I mean, the soda's okay. The soda wouldn't be more than a 3, maybe a 2.5 or a 3, even if I weren't knocking off points for my fear, because it's just, it's okay. It's not great.
It's
pleasant, but it's not.
I can't go higher than that 3.5 for me, mostly because I know what a good horchata tastes like, and this is not it.
It's not anywhere close to that.
It's where that it's at that point where it's like, okay, this is actually good and decent. I can drink this, but it's not as good as the real thing. It's kind of like new Coke,
Yeah.
Okay, I give it a 3, but being the best student in a remedial class is not saying much.
No.
And comparing this to the actual horchata, which is an amazing drink and just an absolute cultural asset to Central America, this is a poor approximation thereof.
Yeah.
So
I can't argue with that.
So I'm sticking with my 3 greasy wrappers.
It's drinkable. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think the most we can say about it is, is a fair assessment.
That is a fair assessment. I might be slightly higher on it than that, but not much.
Yeah. So Greg and I would be, and you might be,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So with that, let's move on and have Greg give us one of his stories in Tales of the Stupid.
I thought I would focus this week on Kuchikamizaki.
What?
Kuchikamizaki, which is mouth-chewed sake. And this is sake that used to be made by Japanese virgins, like we're talking hundreds of years ago, where they would chew the rice in their mouths and then spit it into a container and allow it to ferment.
Well, that's horrifying.
Well, it's horrifying from our today's cultural norms, but it was considered the most sacred sake of all.
It's horrifying from a hygiene standard.
The spit would break down the rice and it would be hygienic. I mean, it's similar to chicha beer, which isn't made with spit. Usually, South.
Chicha is a corn-based beer where they actually chew the corn kernels so that the enzymes in the saliva get in there and start helping the fermentation process.
Yeah, but I first became aware of Kuchikamizaki I just recently saw the 2016 anime film, the body-swapping film Your Name, and the female protagonist, Mitsuha, is sort of a small-town Shinto priest's daughter, and she has to prepare this to her great embarrassment in a ritual at a local temple while her high school classmates look on and gawk at her doing this ancient ceremony. But it becomes more than just a passing thing. It becomes an important plot point that I won't spoil and otherwise beautiful movie. But rice, when you make when you make sake, they came up in the 8th century with the koji mold, which allowed you to press the rice rather than use saliva. And that allowed the sake to ferment over time and becomes the stuff we drink in restaurants today. But I don't think that the Kuchikamizaki is actually that widely used even in ceremonies. My understanding is it's largely fallen out of favor but it still is considered a sacred form of sake making. So wrapped up in, I believe, Shinto beliefs. So I wish I could find more about it because it's in the movie in Your Name, it was wrapped up in some beautiful rituals and ceremonies that were also layered on with the girl's embarrassment in front of her classmates. So it just a very
So what you're
elegant
saying is
scene.
you enjoy watching teenage girls be humiliated. That's really weird, Greg.
That's not what I was saying at all. And this and
It's clearly what he was saying.
That's what I heard, but
Yeah.
Normally I let you guys slide with the comedy on this one, but this is a sacred ritual, so I'm not going to bite this time. But
wasn't an attempted comedy. I'm just legitimately horrified.
well, you're generally legitimately horrified with me. But sake, the rice wine, we don't normally do alcohol on the show. But if anyone out there knows more about Kuchikamizaki, write to us because it's a fascinating ancient ritual and would love to discuss it more on the podcast.
Yeah, and I need to add on here in the end. I misspoke earlier when I said that the chewing the corn on the chicha was. I said it was part of the fermentation. It's actually part of the mashing process.
Yeah.
Yeah, but. In case anybody was going to come in and correct me, I know you get people who know what they're talking about, and you misspeak, I'd hear about it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
But that's my tales of the stupid.
Okay, that was actually not so stupid.
No, it was. I thought it was kind of
Yeah.
poetic.
Yeah, we might have to change the name of your segment if you keep that up.
No.
I are smart. Yay! More
Okay,
Mexican
never mind. You'll
Prozac.
never keep it up.
Yay!
All right, I think it's time we move on to Be Merry, where we eat our nice sweet desserts.
What you got for us today, man? I'm ready
This
for
also
some
all the
sweets.
food's sitting by you this week, Greg. What
Oh,
do we have here?
It's amazing I haven't cracked into it. Looks like this says premium quality Mamra Ladu puffed rice brittle. And what country are these from?
These are like our first item. These are also from India.
India, product of India.
Yeah.
When I
And
smell it,
they're-
it smells sweet spicy, if I'm
They're
getting that
fairly
right.
large rice balls. They're kind of like little puffed rice noodle things.
I get like a roasted.
Oh, yeah.
I get a roasted chili out of that, not so much a sweet peanut
like
brittle.
chili and nuts almost.
Yeah, like down on Federal around September when all the hatch chilies come in and they're roasting drums of it. That's what this smells like. It smells exactly like
Yeah.
a roasted hatch chili.
It does smell. It has a little bit. I mean, I still smell the rice and something that smells something sweet like
Sugar,
maybe honey or sugar.
Yeah.
But I definitely get some of that. These laddu that we now have in our hands are something that in India these are often used for festivals or religious occasions where they're served. They're kind of like like something we'd have at Thanksgiving or Christmas.
It's like a rice ball about the size of a golf ball.
I'd say it's
that's a good
little
size.
bigger, wouldn't you say?
Maybe
golf
just
ball?
maybe a little, but not much.
Yeah, roughly golf ball size.
Yeah.
So you want to try these guys?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's down the hatch. Let's see.
All right, hard.
They're hard as hell. I tried to take a bite out of that and didn't get very far.
Hurt my teeth.
But tasty.
Yeah, it's like rice brittle.
Yeah. It's got
It's good, but it'll
a
pull
little
your
bit of a
fillings
there's
out.
a lot of sweet, there's some roasty flavors. Yeah, they're kind of hard to eat. The texture is just kind of so.
Are you supposed to soak these in water or something? Where's the package?
They taste good, but I can't eat anymore because they're very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Hey,
very
Ryan, the
different to eat.
package is by you. Are there special instructions and we're doing it wrong? Or is this how you eat them? Is you eat them by breaking your teeth?
I really
see any instructions.
anything, and even when I researched online, I certainly didn't see anything special about how to eat these.
Hey,
so.
Greg, you don't have allergy to peanuts, tree nuts, wheat, soy, or sesame, do you?
All of the above.
'Cause,
Yeah.
this product was produced on machinery that processes all of those things.
Well, then I'm set. I like this.
Yeah, it's
It's hard, though.
it's hard to eat. So I feel kind of torn.
I got
Flavor-wise, it's absolutely delicious.
It's very good.
difficulty of eating definitely is, I mean, if I were rating this just purely on how easy it is to eat, it would be like half a
one,
greasy,
yeah.
half one greasy
It gets
wrapper.
easier. It does get easier.
I'm going to have to give it a 4. I'd probably give it a 4.5, but for the... I don't like to have to... I'm taking in calories. I'm not supposed to be burning them while I'm eating. And this thing is like more... I think you'd expend more energy trying to eat it than you'd get from it. So I have to knock down like a half. I'll give it a 4. Because the taste is really good.
Yeah, I would probably... So I think where I'd go is I'd give it, on taste, I'd give it about a 4.5. It's just not quite like angelic,
That's where
but
I'd go
pretty
with
damn
taste,
close.
yeah.
So it's about 4.5. I'm going to knock it a full point on how difficult this is to
Oh,
eat.
a full point. So
I think it's a full point knock. This is very difficult to eat.
I'm
going 3.5.
Okay.
I'm going 4.8 because I actually got easier to eat. Once you sort of break the surface tension, it's not so bad. It's not as good as the first thing we had, the rice crackers.
No, those are freaking delicious.
Oh, yeah.
But this is an acceptable sweet treat. I'd eat it again.
It's nice. It's and I mean, who knows what like a homemade one is? Might be a little easier because these are store bought. So
Yeah.
you can't really knock the entire food group based on store bought prepackaged stuff.
Yeah, if I saw these in a restaurant, I'd be very intrigued and probably
Yeah.
probably order one.
Yeah.
So
I guess, I mean, I bit into it thinking it would be about the density of a Rice Krispie treat,
I finished
but
mine.
it's the density of an asteroid. So,
yeah,
I ate my asteroid.
so I really I
liked
went
it.
cockung and then like, ow, I used way too much force on something way too hard. It's like biting into a rock, really.
Well, what I found out is as you eat it, it loosens up all of the glued together puffed rice.
I don't want to have to do that work. That's something that should have been done for me already before they served it to me.
Smash
all that
it.
tells
Smash
me
it
is,
with a hammer. It'll be fine.
all that says to me is this isn't done. They haven't finished
this is at least in this prepackaged form, the difficulty eating is a huge knock on
yeah,
it.
it is.
It got easier to eat as
Yeah, because I was
I'm
basically just
sure
having
it
to
would.
scrape like off the surface. Use like my teeth as a chisel to scrape off the surface of it. So yeah, I mean, I'll knock half a point. You knocked a full point, but the taste is 4.5 for both of us.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
It's,
so-
it tastes good. It's just really hard to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would like to introduce something we haven't done yet. We have some feedback. Even if it wasn't much, we have feedback, guys. Somebody
Whoa.
actually commented to us on Facebook.
And what did they say?
So this is our first audience regurgitation segment, and what got spit back at us was Angie on Facebook said back to us, been listening and caught up since episode 1. Love it.
Awesome. Thank you, Angie.
Yes, so thank you,
Thank
Angie.
you, Angie. Your check is in the mail.
We're sorry about Greg.
Yeah. And I will say, Angie, you might want to get your head checked. Visit the psych if you love this. Really, make sure that it's just
Basically,
you're
it's
just
an admission that
quirky
you like
and-
people like listening to people suffer.
yeah. Make sure it's just something where you're like a little quirky and weird, which is cool, and not that there's like something seriously wrong with you. Okay, just public service advice from us.
Thanks very much, Angie.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so now we've tried some Moo Moo Rice Noodles, like chip type things that were absolutely delicious.
Outstanding.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
good.
I mean we're
Got better than we
nearly
ate.
5, and yeah, absolutely wonderful. We had a rather mediocre soda, which surprised us that it wasn't awful, being
Yeah.
a Rocket Fizz thing. And some good tasting, difficult to eat rice balls to end. So, guys, any final thoughts on this episode? Greg?
Yes, I'll be jetting off to Sweden with my Japanese lap pillow and my umbrella tie to hang out with my moose buddies Gullen, Helga, and Yuna. So I'll be milking them copiously and enjoying my pillow. So there's my final thought.
Okay, Ryan.
I'd just like to see if, Greg, do you want some more Mexican Prozac for the road?
Oh, yes, please. Hand that over, please.
Here you go.
Bottle. Thank you.
Okay, I
We're just going to leave him be, I think, for a while.
we'll get him after the episode ends. Yeah.
Why bother? I mean, nobody checks the studio. I'm the only one with the key. We can just leave him here for a while.
Yeah, but it's gonna start stinking. And
Look,
the
I'll
hotel guests, people know.
Fine, I'll restart
Well,
his
you
heart
know-
after the episode.
Yeah, maybe like we go on a camping trip or something later and take him with.
Do we
Then
have to?
nobody will know.
Yeah, can we get the truck around without anybody seeing us load him in, or do we need to like revive him?
I'm gonna say we revive him right
Yeah,
now. I think it's a
fine.
little too high of a risk. So, all right. So I'm gonna say my final thought is we definitely need to get a new battery for the defibrillator. And until next time, remember: eat, drink, and be merry.
Clear.
Oh, roll the tape!